Whenever you grow, you start at the bottom of the next chapter and you feel like you have no idea what you're doing until you grow into that next level.
Okay, but I don't think about the bottom when I'm jumping in. I just jump into the pool.
I love
and
that.
then I realize I'm in the bottom and I get depressed about it for a second. And then I work my way up.
Yeah.
So you realized it before you were jumping in? You jumped in anyway?
Of course. I remember I'd be on my way home and I'd call my mom in tears being like, I didn't have a client sit in my chair today. I made no money. And it was like, okay, you still got to wake up the next day and do it again and find the reasons as to why. What do you need to change? What do you need to focus on?
It's very healthy of you, by the way. I just kept it all inside and suffered.
I mean, we all do with it in our own way. Thank God I had my mother to call.
I like your way. It sounds good. It sounds good. Hello and welcome to the Beauty Ritual Podcast, the podcast that hosts conversations about age, beauty, and identity in a world where the pressure to conform rises every day. This is your dose of perfection correction. My guest today is Liz Rexroat. We go way back. She is a master stylist and now a salon owner. So we have a lot to dive into, going back into the past of where we met, to how Liz started in beauty to where she is now. Liz, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Super excited.
It's my pleasure. It's been so great to reconnect with you.
Truly.
And see everything that has come to be after how many years? Probably over 10?
Yeah, over 10 years now. Yeah.
That's a little wild. So Liz and I met, let me give a little bit of background right now, at Umberto Salon.
Yeah.
It is a 15,000 square foot salon.
Yeah.
Do you know how many chairs are there?
I believe it's up to 100 chairs.
No, it's not.
Yes.
I was going to say 50.
Yeah. I mean, if you count all of like the back chairs, nail, beauty, the skincare, all of that. Yeah, they have up to 100 chairs. I don't know if it's still the same. It's been a while since we've both been there, but it is a true Beverly Hills classic staple salon.
You do not want to ask me like how many people are in the room. If you're like, Eva, how many people are in the room? I'd be like 200. And they're like, no, it was actually 6. Okay. Wow.
It was big. Yeah, it was big. I think we had about 50 hairdressers though. I think if you're
that makes sense.
Yeah, if you're really looking at the grand scheme, there were a ton of artists that have been there for a long time too.
Do you remember the holiday parties?
Oh, we were the babies.
Oh, yes. Okay, we would have holiday parties at a beautiful country club.
Yeah. Did we belong there? It was an open bar, which was very dangerous for hairdressers.
I never asked myself that question. I never asked myself if I belonged there or not. I just went and usually tore it up on the dance floor because I love to dance and I have no shame about it.
Yes. The amount of things that got broken on those nights.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
We really did.
We to be young.
Threw down.
Oh, to be young and be able to wake up the next day and do it again.
Oh, by the way, I wouldn't feel a thing. By the way, those days are over, but I would wake up like nothing happened every single day. My energy was unmatched.
Yeah, I think I went to work the next day most of the time after the holiday party.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
12-hour day. Let's go.
Yeah, that was expected. That was expected.
Always. Different time.
I've actually never asked you this. Where did you go to beauty school and like, why did you get into beauty?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. So I went to school at Maranello. Graduated class 2010.
Wait, did you go to the one on Wilshire?
No, Burbank.
Okay.
Yeah. I was living in the Valley at the time. And I actually got my hair career started working on set. I came out to LA to be an actress. I was going to be famous. And I didn't love it.
I didn't know that you wanted to act.
Yeah. So I started working on an HBO series, like fresh into LA within my first year. Like it was like everybody's kind of dream, but I didn't feel like my heart and soul was in it. It didn't feel like it was the thing that lit my soul on fire. So I was working on this HBO series for about 9 months. And I fell in love with being in the hair trailer. and they did a lot of wigs and that kind of stuff. And that really like sparked this interest of doing hair.
Wait, what a great place to get inspired for beauty, because for me, I started getting muse and inspiration from movies. So I would watch like the Titanic and you'd see Kate Winslet with the red hair.
Oh, yes.
So that's like so incredible and so tangible that you're like, wait a minute, I love the magic that's happening here in this trailer.
Yeah. I got fitted for a wig. I was like playing a stunt double for this girl that was under 18. And I would get fitted for a wig every day. And it was like this transformation of this whole nother person. But when I was in front of the camera, it just didn't feel natural. But when I was in that hair trailer, it just felt like this is home. Like this is what I want to know more about. And that really transcended into my career behind the chair. I was working on set and also bartending and all over the place, working these crazy hours, but still always looking for that next job.
So you're also a bartender?
Yes.
You came in with a lot
make it in LA.
You came in with a lot of soft skills.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have to be able to deal with people. And to go double back really quickly about the Maranello thing, I actually went to Maranello on Wilshire for a couple months before I transferred to Paul Mitchell.
Okay.
So I know Maranello. I just ended up with the right crowd and I got swept into a different lane. But I don't think that any beauty school is really the wrong choice. It's like you're getting a license.
That's really all you're there for. And I knew that going in because I had other people to consult with that were already in the industry and I knew where I wanted to go. I was like, I don't want to frame the picture. I want to be the person that paints the picture. I want to be the person that is doing the color, that is really more the artist behind the person that was just putting it on film. So that was when I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to beauty school and I'm going to get my license. And I knew that assisting was going to be the next chapter. And in beauty school, there was a guy who came in and he worked out of a Beverly Hills salon, can't remember where. And he had said, if you want to make as much as a doctor, go to Beverly Hills. Start assisting there, and that is where you will build your career. So I thought, done. This is where I want to go. No one told me it was going to take as long as it did. And to actually, no one really guides you on that path. There are so many clients, and I feel like people that you meet along the way, and you find your tribe. And it sounds like you found your tribe a little bit earlier, which is so beautiful.
Girl, I feel like you had a much clearer picture. No way. I feel like you had a much clearer picture. And that's the funny thing is like we're not really brought up in a culture in the beauty industry where we're allowed to be open and talk. Yeah. So it does feel really mysterious.
Yeah.
And part of even having these conversations like the one we're having now is to basically come out of the shadows and just be like, hey, this was my experience. And maybe we can even speed that up and to bring it into real time where we're talking about what we're going through in the moment. But honestly, we have so much history to go through because we haven't done that, that we all sit back and we think, oh my God, this person had it all figured out. Because I'm listening to you thinking the same thing and they really didn't.
No, we're all faking it till we make it.
Well, yeah, there's a huge element of that, but I also think there's a huge element of missing community.
Yeah, yes, so great point.
I think it's great that you kind of had some guidance. Did you get that from the girls in the makeup trailer?
I mean, I had one mentor, and when I left that culture, that mentor stayed there. And it was then turning around into what I had no idea, and then trying to find my feet of what's next. What is going to be the next step? And like you said, that sense of community, it's a small knit community. And when you're in it, no one's there being like, let me help you. Let me get you where you want to go. Let me show you that. It was every man for themselves. And I love seeing that you want to change that. It's so beautiful.
Listen. And maybe we don't want to change anything. I'm not sure. I don't want to get swept into something. Maybe that's why we're all quiet. We're all like, wait a minute. What am I asking for? I don't know.
Yes.
No, I mean, I do have like big dreams of having a community. I have a lot of big dreams about that, of where we have, listen, okay, here's the interesting thing about Umberto. It wasn't just hairstylists, okay? We said there was 100 chairs, but there were also facialists, makeup artists, waxers,
nail techs,
huge manicuring section.
And our amazing shampoo girls.
Oh my God. You guys, listen. You would never believe this. We were very spoiled.
So spoiled.
We were so spoiled.
I had no idea.
We had, all the shampoo bowls that you see behind us. Imagine there was a dedicated shampoo girl to each one of those, and that you would just walk your client over and she would shampoo your client for you. She would do all back bar, all treatments.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. How many were there? There were at least, so there was 4 shampoo
where our
bowls
assistants
at
with
the
shampoo.
front were the assistants, with shampoo. And then you would have,
I say there was like 7, 8.
Yeah.
8. Yeah.
Imagine that, guys.
Oh, it was a beautiful time. I didn't know how to tear a foil when I left there.
Oh, no, never heard of it. Also sweeping up after myself. That's embarrassing to admit.
We had it good, but also there was a lot expected of us.
Oh my God.
On so many different levels.
The tears were real at times. So you actually assisted several people there, and of note, you assisted Umberto Savon himself, the entrepreneur that started this entire palace of a salon.
I did. I was so fortunate. I was told that if you wanted to go on the floor on Cannon Drive, that you had to assist him. And I put my heart on that. And I said, this is what I was going to do. And while assisting him, I was so fortunate to run his brand that he had in Target. So I got this like mass market kind of experience with retail. He was developing his color line that he was going to retail in Target at that time as well. So it was, it was such an amazing experience. And for how hard it was, I wouldn't have changed it a second.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have changed anything either.
Yeah.
It was really perfect. I had no idea that you also got to have that product knowledge. Yeah. What an invaluable piece of experience.
Yeah, Target at the time, they had this like beauty concierge, and our job was to go and tell them about the styling products that we had on the shelf, and then they would turn around and sell it. So I got to talk about hair to people that, they had a passion for it, but they didn't really know about it. So I got to, dive into this education side that I really found myself like thriving in. And at the time I was still building my clientele behind the chair. So I would be on the road for 3 days, behind the chair for 4, on the road for 5, behind the chair for 3. Like it was this beautiful balance that if you asked me at this age if I could do it again, I don't think I would want to. Luckily, it was in my 20s when I did it, and it was so much fun. I got to see the world. I got to talk to so many different people and learn about this element of the business that, Umberto, he was always a dreamer. Like he didn't want just a little. He wanted to share it to everybody. And that was like such a pivotal part of my career.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Where do I want to go with that? Because honestly, I'm literally just with you on the road and imagining what it's like to like tour, but then also come home and do hair. Yeah. And in some ways I relate to that because I've been going back and forth between New York and LA, but it's kind of a little different because you were like a spokesperson.
Yeah.
And kind of an educator.
Yeah. It was like this, representation of a brand, and they were going through like a refacing and a rebranding, and, I saw the potential of what they wanted to do. And it was, it was incredibly challenging, and yeah, it was really fun. I think it definitely like gave me a lot of foundation for where I'm at now.
Your positivity and resilience is why you are here today.
Thank you.
And I know that experience, because I had the same experience. Yeah. It builds resilience in you.
Yeah.
So what was the hardest part about becoming independent and being in your own chair?
The fear of not being busy.
Really?
Yes. I know that's like.
So you weren't afraid to leave Umberto's side as his assistant? There was no like, oh.
No, it was this fear of the next chapter, right? Like whenever you grow, you start at the bottom of the next chapter. You go from being at the top of something.
This? I had no idea.
And then you are right at the bottom and you feel like you have no idea what you're doing until you grow into that next level.
Okay, but I don't think about the bottom when I'm jumping in. I just jump into the pool.
I love
and
that.
Then I realize I'm in the bottom and I get depressed about it for a second. And then I work my way up. Yeah. So you realized it before you were jumping in? You jumped in anyway?
Of course. I mean, it's like you gotta close your eyes and jump in. But I think the fear of just like not being able to sustain myself. I live alone, single female. I didn't have any family really to rely on other than emotional support, but that financial support was not there. And I remember I'd be on my way home and I'd call my mom in tears being like, I didn't have a client sit in my chair today. I made no money. And it was like, okay, you still got to wake up the next day and do it again and find the reasons as to why. What do you need to change? What do you need to focus on? And I think like
that's very healthy of you, by the way. I just kept it all inside and suffered.
I mean, we all do with it in our own way. Thank God I had my mother to call.
Your way. I like your way. It sounds good. It sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you. It's scary though.
Okay, so you started to build though. What did you start to notice as you were building? What was that like?
Oh, I mean, I think that it was really finding my people, finding my place of like where I thrived and what I loved to do behind the chair and what I didn't love to do. I think at that point, it was like this never say no. Don't put yourself in a hole. Take every client, find your strengths, hone in on your weaknesses to make them stronger because I wanted to do everything. I didn't want to just cut. I didn't want to just color. I didn't want to put myself in a hole. I wanted to have anything that sat down in my chair, I wanted to be good at. I wanted to never have to say, you know what, I don't know how to give you what you want. And that was like the challenge that I wanted to overcome was being able to make everybody happy, which is impossible.
I was going to say, like, I do think knowing your strengths is like the balance of everything. Yeah. But I do think there was also, at least for me, and because it's interesting to hear you say that, coming from Umberto, there was kind of that pressure that you did have to do everything.
Yeah.
And you had to be great at everything.
Yes.
And that was like, you would take it on because you were just like, yep, I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. But there came a balance and there came a wisdom to realizing like, you know what though? There's like some organic things for me that work really well. And then there's things that work really well for other people. And that's where the collaboration starts to come in.
Yeah.
And the pressure starts to go away. Because for me personally, working under that much pressure of having to be great at every single thing didn't allow me to truly shine with the things that I'm great at. If I put too broad of a focus. That's just what I found for myself.
Yeah. And what do you mainly focus on now?
Oh, girl, I do such a variety.
You still do everything.
I still do everything.
Too. And I love it.
Like all hair textures, like all like updos, blow dries, tons of color, tons of extensions.
I feel like not putting yourself in that like pigeonhole in the beginning of your career.
Which I've heard rumors that you guys are doing that. Any of you youngsters listening, I'm sorry to put you out on the air like this, but I will. You gotta try everything because styles in that are going to evolve over time. Like if you only know how to do a blonde foil,
like
that's all
1,000 foil. But, you know, you have to be able to evolve. And, you know, I think the creative aspect of being able to pull anything out of your pocket to make something happen, I think that's the funnest part of our job.
It also makes you confident. I swear to God, there's a total level of confidence that will come with putting yourself out there, especially when you are assisting and when you're first learning. That's the time to make the mistakes and to put yourself out there and to just try it all, fail at it all, succeed at it all. That's really like you're going to be in the mixture of all of those things.
I would say like standing at this place in my career, I never want to say no, but I love knowing that I have somebody else that I can pass it to that will do better. And
100%.
that will give that client what they need.
100%.
I didn't know that 16 years ago.
No.
But
don't give them numbers. We are ageless.
I'm proud of that number. I love that number.
No, I love it too, but I also love to give it a hard time.
Yes.
So you pushed through that period where it was like terrifying unknown. Yeah. Your books were open and you weren't sure if you were going to book. Like what really kept you pushing through? Was it just the fact of meeting these new clients and making these connections?
I think what kept me pushing through was I knew I didn't want to do anything else. I knew that if I just kept grinding and I kept going, I was going to get where I wanted to be. And I think that just like tenacity to it, I was like, no, I'm going to make sure that this client comes back. And that was when I learned the power of pre-booking their next appointment. It's when I learned the power of gray hair. You know, it built me my most consistent clientele. Now it's
I'm nodding very vigorously for those of you listening. I'm just nodding. For those of you watching, you can see.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's just, I didn't want to give up. So just kept going.
I love the energy of that.
Thank you.
You're bringing it back. You're really like bringing me back to that like nostalgia a little bit of like what was really positive about that time.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we were around a lot of tenacious, well-rounded, confident stylists.
Yeah. And you had to be confident as well.
That was you, even if you didn't feel it.
No. And you couldn't go back into the color room and be like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing. Like, what do I do? Like now I feel like there is like a little bit more of a culture of like people being a little bit more supportive to the younger generation.
You're right.
At that time, it was like you went back in the color room and you stared at that wall and you were just like, okay.
Like you're not letting any other stylist know. Like they kind of like would come in the color room. This was a huge color room, by the way. And there was a manager of the color room who managed everything, organized everything. She washed all your bowls. Okay.
She marked how much color you took.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
She was like a whole AI for that color room. But you never wanted to let any of the other stylists know that you were struggling to formulate because they would kind of like the older ones would come in and they would like look at you and be like, give you like a how you doing kind of look. But you're like, I'm fine. Even though you were sweating, you were dripping sweat.
Do I go with a 6 or a 7? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both.
And they'd be like, emotional mixing. And then they'd walk out.
Yes. But I'm going to write it down anyways. Such a fun time.
So you moved from Umberto straight to Beaumain.
I did. Yeah.
How was your first transition from salon to salon? Because that is a huge leap for a stylist. It can be very scary. It can feel like many different things. So tell us all about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was truly scary because at that point, I had only moved as an assistant. I worked at one other boutique salon for 2 years before I went to Umberto.
Wait, seriously? I didn't know that.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Umberto was...
That was my second salon. I assisted for 5 years.
I think I assisted 2 other salons before.
Okay. How long did you assist for?
In total, probably 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So like a year and a half at Les Journaux, and then I had a stint with Casey Welsh, and then Umberto with Joseph.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So the transition from behind the chair to another salon, it was truly scary because I didn't know what it was supposed to look like.
No one tells you anything.
No one tells you anything. And I had got the job at Beaumain and we laughed about this for many years. I worked there for 7 years.
At Beaumain?
At Beaumain, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the only reason that they really hired me, I didn't have an Instagram. Like, I think I had like 150 followers at the time. Like, it wasn't coming from a classic trained salon. I didn't have the youngest clientele. I didn't have the Instagram girls, which very much when you're walking into a high-end trendy salon, they're looking for that.
This is so real, everything you're saying.
They're looking for the image. And I came in my blazer and, my little pantsuit, because I was professional. And I didn't really have much to show for a book. And so I'm sitting in this interview with Sunny, and he is this brute British guy. And he just kind of looks at me and he's like, I'm going to have to see your numbers or something that is going to show me that you can sustain a commission chair here. And because coming from Umberto, everything was done on paper.
Listen, I just recently have come around to a booking system.
It's amazing, life-changing.
It's life-changing. But we really did come from a salon that was born in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it has flourished and it's been extremely successful, but it hasn't had to come up under the pressures of the digital age. And in a way, that was probably the harder part of the transition. There were all of these elements of okay, we came out super polished, we came out tenacious, we came out with an amazing set of skills and the ability to withstand a lot of pressure. But we also didn't have the savvy that came with the technical side of things.
We did it all on paper. So in that interview, I had my yearly planner where I tracked all my clients. I tracked every week. I'd write down their name, the service, what they paid, what they tipped. And that was my booking system. So I pulled that out and I was like, actually, I have my numbers with me. And he looks at it and he's like, wait a second. Is this the same Susie that's sitting down in your chair every week and spending this much? I'm like, yeah, actually, I gross this much on her in a year. And she's been coming to me for the last 3 years. And he is such a business guy. He's like, okay, how many of these clients do you think will come with you? I had no idea how to answer that question. And I just said, hopefully all of them.
Right. There's that confidence.
Yeah.
Lead with it, baby.
Hopefully all of them want to come and we'll see what happens. And he was so gracious because he's like, when do you want to start? And I, once again, had no idea what that looked like. So I just said, I don't know. Do people give a 1 week notice, a 2 week notice? I don't know if they're going to kick me out and say, good luck.
Which some salons do. They tell you to leave the moment that you give notice.
And it's terrifying. So I didn't know what I was going to get. They did give me 1 week. And that 1 week, I was so excited to jump and but yet so scared. And when I went to Beaumain, it just felt right. It was such a great transition for me. And
I'm so happy to
me.
hear that.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing it on Instagram and being like, wow, this is new and exciting.
Yeah.
But I don't think I had done that transition yet, quite frankly. I think I was still with Umberto because I had transitioned to Olympic. Yeah. But I remember what you described, that meeting. I remember when on some of my first interviews coming with my book of all of my, and I got honestly some bad reception at a few places that better that I didn't work there. Those salons closed. Okay. But I remember they were very, very beautiful places with some heavy attitude. And you have to be able to withstand the atmosphere that you're going to be working in, and your clients need to be comfortable, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes rejection is God's protection. But that paper transition to the digital transition, that was so real, girl.
Oh my gosh, it took me forever just to think. I had thankfully started putting all my clients in an iPad and tracking people that way, and started putting history. I still did my books on paper, but I had my client cards in an iPad. So that made it a little bit easier to transition. But I was super excited for the next chapter. It was a new salon. They had been open for 6 months.
What? Seriously? Only 6?
Yeah,
Wow.
they didn't
were
have
brand
the
new.
name that they have now.
Wait, what do you mean?
It was they.
Oh, they were
it was
growing their name.
Yeah, like they're building the brand.
I'm not blonde at all. For any of you listening or watching, I'm very blonde.
Yeah, like they were starting to build the name. So it was like a really exciting place to be because I saw the potential of what I was going to get to grow into as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's a very exciting experience. So you were there for 7 years.
Yeah.
And what happened in between that 7 years that had you open a place today? Was that something that you knew you wanted at that time? You seem like someone that can sometimes tell your own, next step. Or was this sort of a surprise?
And my journey at Beaumain was so beautiful because I really feel like my time there turned me into the stylist that I am today. They gave me the confidence to stand where I am today. After working directly, with them and, doing the industry models and building my Instagram. And it was so exciting because I was being challenged in ways that I hadn't been challenged before. And I kind of like stepped into this role that Sunny and Dre just kind of looked at me one day and they're like, hey, do you want to manage the salon? Like, you're pretty much kind of like stepped into this role. And, I loved just the ins and outs of the salon, and stepping into that, I managed the salon for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
And
so you got a little training.
Yes. Yeah. It was great because I got to see the behind the scenes of what they were doing, the ordering, the keeping schedules, and, the bookings and promotions and all these different things that they wanted to do. I got to kind of see what worked, what didn't work. I got to learn so much in that moment. And I knew that I still wanted to be behind the chair, but I didn't want to say no to the opportunity to learn something and to really just grasp what they were doing and why.
Okay, this is going to seem like an offshoot, but you sort of inspired this question in what you just said of having, you mentioned growing your social media at Beaumain and then coming from Umberto where everything was like very classic. What did you learn that maybe Instagram was good for and what it wasn't good for? Because I feel like there's still so much that happens in person that even if you have the most beautiful Instagram, it's still just a beautiful Instagram.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I always treated my Instagram like my lookbook. I didn't use it as a way to get clients. I used it as a way to get clients to trust me. They could see what I could do, but that face-to-face, nothing can replace that. We are an industry that it is all about referral. People are going to trust somebody's word. They're going to say, from a friend, that they're going to trust that more than what they see. This is glamorous. Like Instagram, it's beautiful. But I didn't see it as a way of how I was going to get clients and keep them in my chair. And, I found myself comparing a lot in those early days where I had that older clientele and I was doing great coverage. It wasn't sexy. I wasn't doing sexy hair, but could I nail a blowout? Yes. And it was this place.
There's sexy and then there's bread and butter.
Yes. It was this place that I was always comparing. I'm like, why don't I have this? And I'm looking at the older woman that sits down in my chair every 3 weeks. It wasn't until I would say about 3 years into my career at Beaumain, where I was like, oh, I don't have a clientele that sits down in my chair every 4 to 5 months. I have a clientele that sits down in my chair every 4 to 5 weeks. So now I don't have to work as hard as somebody else to have a consistent clientele because my clients come back more often. And I stopped comparing myself. And that was when I was like, you know what? This Instagram really is that lookbook. I'm still going to build it. I'm going to use it, but I'm not going to rely on it. And on the other, fast forward, I still treat it that way.
I love that question on you.
Thank you.
So you get this prerequisite kind of experience managing a salon, and what? The light bulb goes off? Tell me.
I feel like after like managing, I ended up stepping away from managing Beaumain when my dad had gotten sick. And it really was just one of those things where I was like, I really just want to be able to drop into my craft and just be with my client and not have to worry about everything around me. And I think at that point, and that was 2019, I really didn't know if I wanted my own salon. But with time, after losing my dad and, really just seeing an opportunity of what was next and really wondering and questioning what is next? Like, do you want to be behind the chair? Do you want to go into education? Like, I felt like I had kind of checked all the boxes of the things that I wanted throughout my career. And it was really my father kind of like saying to me, I really hoped one day I'd be able to see you do this.
Really? He said that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of an unimaginable situation, even though it's a part of life to lose your parent, but to be in, like, he influenced a lot of what you did in your career.
Yeah. And I just knew, I said, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but I know it's going to happen. And that kind of started this 2-year journey, mental tug of war of what I wanted this next chapter to be.
So he planted the seed?
He planted the seed for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Do you feel like it would have been different? Like, do you think you would have been more daunted, or like, because it seems honestly like such a beautiful gift for your dad to say that to you? In a way, he's like dreaming really big for you, because sometimes it's hard to dream big for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved it. I think it was like this little like fire just reignited in me of like, okay, he thinks I could do it. I can do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And it was, I got denied of a space that I wanted. It was probably about the same size as this. And it was me kind of biting into too big of a piece of cake. And it kind of set me back in the way of...
Hold on, rewind. Wait, is this different from Strand?
No, Strand is a byproduct of where I was at this point.
Okay, tell me. I'm in. I'm invested deeply. Where are we?
So at this point, I had started talking to real estate agents. I had gotten all the finances in order. I was getting my ducks in a row, and really trying to. And I kept on saying, I'm gonna open up my own salon. I'm gonna do this. And I'm very much the kind of person, when I say I'm gonna do something, I wanted it done yesterday.
I know that I feel this about you.
And I had never really been denied of something I wanted in my career at that point. And I had put in an application, and it was about 3,000 square foot place on Olympic. And it was one of those things where I didn't really have a clear vision of what I wanted it to be at that time.
Got it.
Being denied of that space was probably the most beautiful thing that ever happened.
Really?
Yeah. Because it put me in a place of like, okay, you really actually need to think of what you want and like, how big do you want this to be? And do you want it to be something that is going to enhance the way you feel now, or put you into an entirely different realm? And I loved the way that my life was. I loved that I could be behind the chair and still have this balance. And, opening up a 15 station salon wasn't going to give me balance. It wasn't going to keep me in that place. And I think being denied of that really taught me that and gave me a clear vision of what I have now.
That is so well put. Because balance, honestly, what do you want? Balance or burnout, baby, right?
Yeah.
So blessed with balance, tell us a little bit about what you have now.
Or
a lot. Go for it.
My little, I call
Blow
it my little oasis. So I started looking at the beginning of the year for a space.
That's 2025, baby.
I knew that I wanted it to be second story. I wanted amazing natural light. I wanted it to be boutique, but have all of the amenities of a large, full functioning salon. Talked to my real estate agent, and I came across this space in West Hollywood on La Cienega and Santa Monica. And I walked there was 2 spaces available. The one next door was slightly bigger. And then there was this one. It was a second generation salon, which was another thing on my list because I wanted to keep my cost on the lower side. So then I didn't have to charge an absorbent amount of money to stylists to rent a chair. And I wanted it to be sustainable for me. I didn't want very much. I just wanted a beautiful place for people to do hair. And when I walked in, it was fully gutted. And it was so clear. I was like, this is it. I'm doing it. And closed my eyes, wrote a check, signed the paper, and said, all right, let's go. I didn't even know what I wanted to name it. And I opened in a month and a half after that.
I mean, I love the name Strand.
Without an A.
Without an A, y'all.
Too cool for vowels.
My name wouldn't do well without vowels, I'll tell you that much. So you're in your space today.
I am.
You have chairs. I know that you're looking.
Yeah. I have a couple rental spots available. It is small boutique, maximum of 3 stylists working there at a time. And I really did that because I wanted it to be a space that people could sit down and they could have those intimate moments with their client, but still have all the luxuries of what a big salon is.
What would you be looking for if you were interviewing someone?
I think the biggest thing is just how people connect with their clients, right? It's how people are behind the chair with someone who is going through the best or the worst of times. Are they able to be empathetic? And is it more than the money that we make? We have so much power with what we do. And I think a lot of times that goes unrecognized. And it is this chase of what we charge and I'm the best and this is, the money that I get and I deserve. No, for me, I get to be with that person. I get to give them a sense of confidence in the best of times. I get to be there for their wedding, graduations, deaths, breakups. It's so much more. And the client gets to be there through that part of life as well with me. And I think the way that we are able to connect with the person that we are touching can be so powerful. And that's really what I'm looking for, is just somebody who loves what they do.
And baby, that comes from a classic education, okay? It doesn't come from anywhere else.
No.
I love that. I love that you know that. I think it's very holistic. And I think that even if you weren't raised in a classic salon, when you hear that, you're going to know if you're the right person who resonates with it or not, right? Like there's a different environment for every single stylist, every single person, but I love the sound of that environment.
It's peaceful.
It's holistic.
Yeah.
It's really holistic.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, you just described the perfect kind of atmosphere for a client, let alone someone that wants to work there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's so much going on in the world. And for a lot of my clients, they have to get their hair done, right? Because remember, I do gray hair. I've got my moms between 10 and 2. I've got my working ladies that come after 5, and it's like, whether you're in the middle of your day or the end of your day, like that gets to be your moment. I'm here to make it whatever you want it to be. You're gonna feel good when you leave. You're gonna feel polished and ready to take on the next day. Whether you want to order your groceries or you want to talk and gossip, I'm here for it.
I love it. I've gotten to know you so much in this episode. It's honestly
so
filled in
fun.
all of the blanks. Because I've known you for a long time. We've never really sat down and had an in-depth conversation other than when I came and asked you to be on this podcast.
And thank you so much. Like truly.
That was my pleasure.
Yes.
Like really,
so
really
beautiful to reconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the best kind of way too.
Yeah.
I end my podcast with a few questions.
Okay.
So one of them
fire?
is I don't know what they are. Honestly, you'll tell me what they are.
All right.
What would you go back and tell Miss Liz at the beginning of her career? Like maybe if you want to rewind it all the way to her sitting down in the trailer on the HBO lot.
Ooh.
What would you tell her from where you are now?
Don't look at everybody else and just focus on truly what makes you happy and not what's going to make everybody else happy.
Sometimes it's hard to know what's going to make you happy.
Yeah.
So sometimes you probably just
But
need
that's
to
why
sit
you got to try everything. Try
just everything. I was going to say sit there and wait, baby, but she says try everything.
No, you just got to you got to find your happy, right? And not worry about other people looking at you, trying to find it. Like, cut out the world, stop comparing yourself, and just know that your path is your path. No one else's.
Period.
Yeah.
And the last question is, what does beauty mean to you?
Ooh, I think beauty is a sense of self. I think everybody deserves to be and feel beautiful. Beauty just means whatever you want it to mean. Like beauty is just, it's beautiful.
I love that. I love that. There's a big sense of everyone understanding each other when we ask that question. I notice that almost everyone gives at least some element of that beauty is something that comes from the inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we especially know that because we handle the beauty on the outside.
Yes. And sometimes you cannot change the outside to make the inside feel better.
No, girl.
Nope.
Sometimes you really got to change the inside to make the outside look prettier.
True. I love that.
Right?
Yes.
All right. Where can we find you, Liz?
You can find me in West Hollywood at Strand Hair Studio, Locks by Liz, and Strand Hair Studio at Instagram.
That's everything on Instagram. Is it at Locks by Liz? Straightforward?
I think so.
Work. We're going to have that all underneath the episode.
Beautiful.
So you don't even need to worry about that.
There is an underscore.
Well, then we'll print that. We'll
Put
print
it in
that.
there.
But for those of you listening, you just have to go watch it on YouTube to make sure you have the right handle, baby. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. This was such a pleasure.
Thank you.
It was especially nostalgic for me. I don't know how it's going to be for the listeners. I mean, I think we spilled quite a bit of this, nostalgic Beverly Hills salon tea.
Yes. I mean, I feel like we really only touched the iceberg.
We really did because we can't go any further, baby, without a lawyer. No. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Beauty Ritual podcast. We will see you next time. Remember to follow and to subscribe. You know where we're at. It's at beauty_ritual on Instagram and Beauty Ritual on YouTube and Spotify. I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in.